We're talking about respect. Respect's not what you know, it's what you do. Its dictionary definition is politeness, honor, and care shown towards someone or something that is considered important. It has 4 levels: ourselves, how we treat ourselves, our beliefs, our belongings; others, the way we treat others, their beliefs, their belongings; society, the way we treat society and the rules and regulations that govern it; and the world, the way we interact with the world around us. Now, with that, there's also 9 principles. The principles break into the levels, which means that when you're talking about respect for ourselves, we can trust ourselves, we can accept ourselves. The principles apply to each of the levels. The levels are like domains of our world, our life, that we experience respect in. And the principles are closer to actionable terms or things that we do that allow us to show respect in the world. So let's review them. Trust. Choosing to give a person a chance. That means we give ourselves a chance to be successful. We give other people a chance to prove themselves. We work to always think of other people in the most positive light that we can, given, of course, our experiences and the experiences of the people that we already trust, like our parents, teachers, and mentors. When I want to trust new people, I look for certain cues from my parents, from my mentors, from my friends, best friend preferably, that give me some inkling like, okay, this is a new person I can trust. Their values align with me. Respect isn't trusting just anyone who comes your way. Respect is saying, okay, there's a certain baseline level of trust that I give to people, and then I have higher levels of trust depending on our relationship. Trust is super important, but especially when we talk about trust to our older students, we say, well, we don't just trust everyone. How do we differentiate? Well, experience, wisdom that comes with time, but more importantly, mentorship. When I trust my parents, I can use that trust with my parents to ask questions about my relationships in other areas of my life. Caring, doing what is best for ourselves and others. Caring is a tough one. People confuse caring and kindness with niceness, and that's not what it is, right? We're not looking for niceness. We're looking for an understanding of how I'm supposed to treat people in not just a good way, but the best way for myself. How does it take care of me and then them? When we show great caring, we do things that maybe in the moment don't really make the person feel good. And this is an example of a parent not letting their kid have ice cream for dinner, but we know it's ultimately good for them. It builds good habits and it pushes them to be a better form of person. And if we're a friend, then we say, okay, hey, I'm not going to do that, or hey, I don't think it's a good way to talk. And we check our friend's language, not because we're in charge of them, but because, hey, I really care about you. I'm not going to let you talk this way. I really care about you. I'm not going to let you cheat or do this or do that. And this is me caring for you, not by doing whatever you want or making you happy, but by being honest with you when things maybe aren't quite right. Courtesy, showing good manners and kindness always. And we'll talk more about kindness down in level 5. So when we talk about courtesy, we observe niceties, right? That's not the same as being nice. Don't get the words confused. There are certain rituals, there are certain obligations I go through when I'm in different places. When I'm in a library, I am quiet. Right? When I'm in class, I put my phone away. When I'm talking to someone, I make eye contact. These things are politeness. They are social obligations. They're things I understand this is a proper way to act. And different cultures can have this. We talk about respect in the world and respect in society. Different groups where I live, or even different parts of the world, different other cultures, those things can change what courtesy is. Taking off my shoes is a little weird in some places, but it's the expectation in other places, and a neutral habit in some places. When we talk about this level of, this principle of respect, we talk a lot about please and thank you. We talk a lot about opening doors, things that are pretty universal here in America. And when you dip into society in the world, you can start talking about bowing in other cultures. You can start talking about different shoes, especially in Japan. You have shoes to go to the bathroom, you have indoor shoes, you have outdoor shoes. There's a lot of little nuances you can get into if you care enough to go into the research. Acceptance, allowing others to be themselves without passing judgment. So acceptance isn't agreement, right? I can accept that someone is a certain way without agreeing with their lifestyle. I absolutely accept that there's people who enjoy gambling. That doesn't mean I have to agree that they should be gambling. There's plenty of people who drink or smoke or like certain sports or eat certain foods, and I don't have to agree with their opinion. I don't have to like that sports team. I don't have to agree with their lifestyle, but that doesn't matter. I can accept them for who they are. That's a little bit of a tougher conversation with a lot of the younger kids. We talk about acceptance in the terms of, okay, your friends disagree with you on a TV show or a favorite food, and that's okay. With the older kids, we start talking about, hey, people are different, and you're gonna meet people who misalign on certain things. As long as they don't misalign on main values, you can get along with almost anyone. There are certain things that are no-goes, right? Deal breakers, if you will, where like, hey, if we can't agree on these certain things, we can't be friends. But for most things, it's just a difference of opinion. Kindness, giving without accepting anything in return. So when we talk about kindness, we start leaning in a little bit more to generosity. And the idea of kindness is when I do something for you, whether it's a service, whether giving an item, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I'm showing kindness not necessarily because I think you're amazing, but because I hold myself to a higher standard. I don't need to get anything from you to be a good person. Now, could that also be I want to take care of you and I think you're amazing? Of course, but it doesn't need to be. Kindness is this as close to a selfless act as we can get. And anyone can argue like, hey, you feel good, so it's not truly selfless, but the idea is that I'm sacrificing time or effort or resources to give something to someone else, and I don't really need them to give those same things or anything back in order to feel fulfilled. And that's what we talk about a lot with kindness. And that's pretty simple for a lot of the younger kids. Most kids are really good about kindness. They learn sharing at the home, and giving a toy without expecting one back isn't too hard of a concept. Confidence, believing in our abilities without putting others down. So when we talk about confidence, we want to say things like, I am great, not I am greater than. That's really a sticking point for a lot of the kids and really gives them a verbal cue to let them know, hey, am I being confident or arrogant? As soon as I start saying I'm better than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you, I'm smarter than you, we're going in the wrong direction. When I say I am great, I am smart, I am powerful, I am strong, I am confident, we're saying the right things. We want personal positive affirmations when we're talking to other people. You are great, you are amazing. Those are positive affirmations for others. When I start saying, hey, you're better than everyone else, now I'm encouraging arrogance. And so confidence for ourselves and others, no matter what we're talking about, is not putting a person or a group higher than other people, saying, hey, this group is great, this person is great, this other group is also great, right? They're individual and beautiful in their own way. The more special someone is in one category, the more the same they are in other categories. And we want to talk to our kids about building confidence. Your sports team can be amazing, and someone else's sports team can also be amazing. It's not one or the other. And that's okay. And that's okay. And they're unique and they're different, but they're the same in the fact that they both play soccer, or they both play basketball, or they both have 9-man teams or 12-man teams, or whatever the case is. There are always similarities, just like there's always going to be things that are different. And that leads into a little bit of acceptance, but we talk about that more in confidence because it's a lot of that difference that creates like just tribalism, where people want to think their thing is the best thing and everyone else sucks. And we want to really get kids away from that. And that takes a lot of practice, right? Pretty much everything in their environment teaches them of this versus that, and that takes a lot of work. Listening, paying attention, and responding appropriately. So we did communication last cycle, so there's going to be a little overlap here, and some of the life skills do that. When we talk about good listening, we have an appropriate response, which means sometimes that's saying words and sometimes it's doing the thing, right? Sometimes a request, especially from our parents, isn't actually a request, it's a call to action. I should go do the thing right now. And we talk a lot about that. Loyalty, being accountable to our principles, right? And that's not just our principles, it's our beliefs, our parents, our teachers, our mentors. You can be loyal to a lot of things. For this, we often talk about a loyalty list. Have the kids write the top 5 people they're most loyal to, the people most important in their lives. Most of the time, it's parents or grandparents, depending on who the kids live with, that are at the top of the list. And then we get to have a conversation. Okay, what does loyalty look like? What are the qualities of a loyal person? Is that how you treat your mom and dad all the time? Is that how you treat the people you live with all the time? You say these are the most important people, but the behaviors you're putting into action don't really match what you're saying. You treat your friends more important. You treat your teachers more important. Sometimes your instructor, your coach says something, you do it right away, but when mom says it, you don't want to do it at all. That's a little weird. That's out of order, right? Your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your family, they pay for you to come to martial arts. How do you listen to your martial arts instructor more? How can we reorder that, get your priorities straight? Adequate communication, number 9, using appropriate words and body language to reflect respect. So then this is where we start talking about the actual words of respect. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, mom, yes, dad, please, and thank you. We've already covered these already in the previous words, and now's our time to hammer it home. We saved this for last, and I wasn't there when they wrote these words originally, but in my opinion, one of the reasons these are last is because the words are so much less important than the tone and the belief system. If my heart and my actions are in the right place, I can find the right words. If I have the right attitude, I have the right tone, I can find the right words. If these other things aren't lined up, if I don't understand what I'm doing here, then it doesn't matter what words I say, they're not going to hold any weight. And so adequate communication is a lot about words and body language. How do I hold myself? How do I pick the right words so that now the actions that I'm showing can now be articulated? And especially for the kids, this is super important because a lot of times the kids know that they misbehaved, but they can't explain why. Or they know that they were in the wrong or made a mistake, but they can't really articulate the difference between what they were supposed to do versus what they actually did. And adequate communication, we get to dive into a little bit, give them drills. One of the things I do is we talk about sorries. It's adequate communication, showing respect is instead of I'm sorry, it's I'm sorry for. So you state the reason why you're sorry instead of just saying a blanket I'm sorry. And then accepting apologies the same way. When we show proper respect, not just respect for others, but self-respect, I don't say it's okay. I say I accept your apology. Or I can't accept your apology yet because. And having that conversation is pretty tough, especially for the younger kids. Getting them just to say I accept your apology instead of it's okay or it's fine or whatever. Those little speaking habits are just ways to get their vocabulary to match their mindset, or vice versa, and that takes time, and especially if they're the young ones, 3 to 6 years old. Our goal is to build good habits and really have the parents understand these concepts. And if you're a parent right now, this is months, years of training and practice. We have 2-month cycles to really get their information, give them a baseline, and our intent is they're going to be with us for years, training for their black belt and beyond. So we're going to have 10, 20, 30 times to go through this again and again, so that maybe the 12th time or the 17th time it starts to sink in and they can start implementing this into their character. My instructor, Master Carol, he's awesome. If he's on here, you're great. He used to always say, hey, if your kid's 8, it took you 8 years to get your kid this way, I can't fix them in 2 months, right? And we do our best not to say that directly to parents because some of the parents can be a little testy when you talk to them like that, as I'm sure you could imagine. But the mentality is the same, right? If your child is a white belt, or even if they're a black belt and they've been training for 1 year or 5 years or 10 years, if they're 30, if you're an adult 30-year-old man and you've been training for 10 years, that's 20 years before that we're now, hopefully not completely rewriting, but now we're making an adjustment towards a higher standard, a higher personal standard. So it just takes time, right? And if your kid's 3 years old, then we can't combat 3 years of their home life with a couple of months. We can help, right? But at the end of the day, you are the people that they lean on the most for modeling in their behavior. Where our job is to support you. So if you haven't gone through this yet, it's the best thing you can do. Martial arts is important. I like punching and kicking. I would say respect's a little more important. So study up. Check this out. If this is too confusing, talk to your instructor. There's always more you can learn, and always more situations at home you can bring to your instructor so we can get you through the lens of our life skills to put you to a higher level of not just leadership in your home, but also leadership on the mat, and hopefully someday leadership in our businesses and our communities. I'll see you later.